Kon Knueppel might have been the safest bet in the entire 2025 NBA draft class. The Charlotte Hornets took him with a number 4 pick, even though higher ceiling prospects were still on the board. And analysts immediately backed up the move, calling Knueppel a perfect fit for Charlotte's system and fit their long-term needs. Now, when you turn on the film, it's all there. He's an elite floor spacer with a lightning-quick release, plus the craft and strength to get all the way to the rim when needed. The only question now is, did the Hornets just draft a solid starter or one of the most important pieces of their core?
He always brings energy. Kon Knueppel!
Now let's kick this whole thing off by talking about how did Kon perform in the Summer League. And it's no secret the Hornets were extremely impressive. They won the Summer League championship, and Kon was a big part of that. And I think when you look at this through the lens of validating your views on the draft and the Hornets pick in general, one, if you were positive about the draft pick, then this did nothing but extremely bolster those opinions that you already had. He showed a knack for getting to the rim, did that a little bit more than he did at Duke, worked in the mid-range a little bit more. From 3, he wasn't as efficient as he was at Duke, but, it's the Summer League. What can you expect? The release looked fine, crystal clean. He's able to get his feet square to the rim, showed off that quick release numerous times. So you feel really good. If you felt, like I said, if you felt good coming into the Summer League, then your beliefs are bolstered. If you felt bad, then you're certainly feeling a whole lot better about it. Overall, great Summer League for Kon. Now, I do want to take a second just to talk about Kon's college career a little bit holistically. I think that you look at the stats by themselves, averaged 14 and a half points a game, and you can be a bit underwhelmed. But I think you have to take all of these in context with who he was playing with. And we'll talk more about that as we go through some extended highlights from college. But he was a very efficient player, played a role on a team that was very good, and his role was super important. So I think when you look at his efficiency numbers, that's where you get super excited about Kon as a prospect. And with that being said, let's take a deep dive into the film. Now, as we shift to his college highlights and college film packages, we're going to start off with the most translatable ability that he has, and that's his ability to act as a catch-and-shoot threat. Now, even more so than with other prospects, I like to watch how he operated within the Duke offense because with the type of talent they had on that roster last year, his role will probably be very similar once he gets to the NBA. And what I like most about him is as an off-ball threat, he is really conscious about how he hunts his shot. So he's constantly moving. They run a lot of off-ball screen actions for him, but he's cognizant of where his feet need to get to when he relocates. He's fine and really smart with how he navigates the perimeter when he doesn't have the ball. He slides around when needed. If he's got space and knows he doesn't need to move, he can just stay still and have that pocket ready for the passer to deliver the ball to. So all in all, I just think the headiness of his game, combined with his ability to shoot the ball at an extremely high level, really couple together very well. And you put that into, with his athleticism and some of the other stuff we'll get into later, it's just such a great skill set, and I'm excited to see it. Now, shooting off the dribble was one of the areas I was completely prepared to rag on Kon Knueppel about, and then I watched the film. When you look at the stats by themselves, you see something where he just, he was not shooting off the dribble very much, and it's something that he didn't do, and I took that to mean he wasn't good at it. And then I started watching the film and realized, okay, I think this is a situation where he's not doing it because he doesn't have to or need to. The team around him is so good and talented that he's more efficient when he utilizes the space that they create. But then you watch him perform in the clips that I've pulled here, and it's something he can do. This is an area where I think you're going to see blossom as you get into an even more spaced out NBA game, and he's able to attack closeouts a little bit harder, especially playing with guys like LaMelo, Myles Bridges, Brandon Miller, and others. I think this is something Charlotte Hornets fans should be excited about. And you saw it in the Summer League. You're seeing it in these clips. This is definitely in his bag. It's just not something he had to rely on. And that's something that's really made me feel much better about this pick in general. Now let's talk about Kon Knueppel attacking the rim. It's something he did quite a bit last year, and I want to address the elephant in the room. He's not the most explosive athlete. I think he had 2 dunks last year. But what he does really well is he controls the pace of his game once he starts attacking. He plays really well off 2 feet, makes sound decisions if he can get to the rim and be crafty and create space by using that long reach of his and his length overall as a player. He's efficient, and that's something that I think carries over to the NBA rather well. You may see a little bit of the volume around the rim decline, but again, at the Summer League, that's not really the case. He, was playing against probably in general, more size and athleticism, and he still performed quite well. So I think as you think about him attacking the rim at the NBA level, it's going to rely on him continuing to be heady off of 2 feet, being cognizant when a shot blocker's challenging him and knows he can't get it off. And I think that that's well within his means. So overall, going to the rim, while never is going to be a primary strength, it's something he can do. Now, we've spent a large portion of this video talking about Kon Knueppel as an offensive weapon, and that's the calling card. That's what got him drafted. But I do want to shift and talk about his defense a little bit, because I think there are some things there that can help him both get minutes early in his career and also just help the longevity in making him more of a two-way piece. I don't think he's going to be a premier defender in the NBA. That's not what I'm saying. And I don't want to be that YouTube creator that calls every white guy deceptively athletic. But I think there are parts to his game on the defensive end that might be slightly better than people expect. The last part of his college game that I want to touch on briefly is his ability to act as an on-ball defender. And really more specifically as a team defender, because I don't think he gets enough credit for this. One, he's long enough where he can get in front of defenders and contest shots, but two, he plays a really good, sound team pick and roll defense. He knows when to switch off, he competes hard, and he shows a willingness to really give a lot of effort when he's on the ball. So while, again, he's never going to be your team's primary defender or guarding the other team's best player, I do think in the NBA that relies heavily on team defense and in executing on others' individual efforts, he's going to fit in just fine. I'm not like a huge concerned person that he's not going to be able to hold up defensively in the NBA. I think he's just going to be just fine, competent, and really maybe even elevate you from a team defense perspective. So overall, no concerns here from me. Now, I want to take some time now and really just kind of give my thoughts on Kon's fit with the Hornets. And I think at first, if you followed the channel, I was a little down on the pick. Mainly because I feel like as a small market team, Charlotte really needs to take big swing and misses. And Kon, for me, as we mentioned in the intro, is probably the safest pick or one of the safest picks from the 2025 NBA draft. He has such a defined skill set, and what he does translates so well that I see the appeal. For me, I was looking at guys like Trey Johnson and Ace Bailey and thinking to myself, okay, these are folks who could really just turn into superstars given the right opportunity, given that they have things and have skill sets that are well suited to expand given more opportunity. And I wasn't sure about Kon that same way, specifically when I was looking at his stats. We talked about his ability to shoot off the dribble. And I think when I took an initial glance and looked at his numbers from off the dribble shots last year, I was underwhelmed, primarily because you look at it and you see, one, he didn't shoot many threes off the dribble, and two, he didn't shoot that great of a percentage when he did. And then I started to reflect and watch the film a little bit more, and I think the biggest takeaway, and we talked about this earlier, is he didn't have to do that. You look at that team that Duke had assembled around him. He's playing with the unanimous #1 pick from the draft all the way back to his first day at Duke and Cooper Flagg. And you start to think, okay, he had studs. He had a big man who could operate around the rim and create a ton of gravity there. Obviously, Cooper Flagg just demanded a ton of attention. But then that's not it. He had plenty of other pieces on that Duke team last year that just required touches, required things, and really created space for him along the perimeter. So for me, I think some of the limitations that you see from college are more of a byproduct of the system that he was playing in, and the need for him to be that true floor spacer, that knockdown dynamite shooter that he was. Now, with Charlotte, I think that one, his floor is absolutely secure. He is going to be maybe not a premier right off the bat, but a certainly plus floor spacer, someone that can knock down shots for a team that's going to need it. You look at the fit with a LaMelo Ball, and I really, as I've ruminated on this a little bit, started to come around quite a lot, because I think that when you have a creator of LaMelo's level, it's just going to create so many opportunities for Kon to just knock down open shots. And you think about factoring in like a Myles Bridges or a Colin Sexton, other guys that he's going to be able to play with, and complement a guy like Brandon Miller. I think the two of them can play extremely well together, given Miller's versatility, his size. Kon's got plenty of size as well. And you start looking at what Charlotte has on the roster next year, and interesting the amount of lineups that they're going to be able to put out there and play. They have a ton of pieces. The summer league team is super encouraging, and Kon was a big part of that. So for me, the more I've thought about this, the more I've come around and thought this might have been a sneaky good pick for Charlotte. I know analysts at the time were a little bit torn, but overall, I think it's a good fit, good pick, someone that can certainly help that organization get to the levels they want to get to and fit Charles Lee's culture that he's trying to instill in the Buzz City. But Hornets fans, let me know what you think. How did you feel? I'm interested to hear this actually. How did you feel when Kon got drafted, and how do you feel now, and what's changed? I'm sure there's a lot of you that loved it then and love it now, but I bet there's a few like me as well. Let me know in the comments. Let's have a discussion about it. And then let me know your expectations for this season. I know with the Summer League Championship, a lot of folks are excited for the season, and rightfully so. But do you think that's getting a bit overblown? Do you think that there are reasonable steps for this team to be a bubble team, or not a bubble team, excuse me, a play-in team? Or do you think this team is someone that can compete for a guaranteed playoff spot? I think they're in that range. I think I could certainly see a world in which they end the season way better than everyone expected or in the playoffs. But again, let me know what you think. And also, if you like NBA content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I put out new videos a couple times a week. I try to get around the NBA as much as possible, and college basketball as well. But would love to have you as part of the community. I appreciate all you guys being here. Hope you got something out of this today, and I really hope to see you on the next one.